Okay, welcome back, everyone. So, Daniel chapter 9, verses 24 to 27, Daniel spoke, the angel Gabriel spoke to Daniel about 490 years, 77s. 483 years from the time King Cyrus said, go back. Actually, I shouldn't, was it King Cyrus or the very first Persian king who said, go back till the time Messiah was crucified, for 83 years. Then, last 7 years. And what I have said is, after Messiah, there was a church age. So the Romans were in charge at that time. They destroyed Jerusalem. They destroyed the city and the sanctuary. Then there was a church age. At the end of the church age begins the last 7 years. Because he who now restrains must be taken out of the way, and then the lawless one will be revealed. And the lawless one, that's the beginning of Daniel 9:27. He sets up a covenant of peace for 7 years. And in the middle of the 7 years, he breaks it. And that is very clear, that 42 months, 3.5 years, so on. Any questions?
So as it is mentioned, the Antichrist only will start in the middle of the 7 years, right?
No, so he starts at the beginning of the 7 years as a man of peace.
Man of peace.
He comes and he brings this covenant of peace. But in the middle of 7 years, the real character comes out.
Yeah, abomination and all. So the first 3.5 years, would the church be still there?
No.
It's already taken away at the beginning of the 7 years.
Yeah, because we saw Daniel, 2 Thessalonians 2, 6 and 7. He who now restrains, right? He has to be taken out of the way, and then the lawless one will be revealed. Right? The church is taken out of the way, then Antichrist comes, then the 7 years starts. When he starts, he comes as a man of peace. That is Daniel 9:27. He will confirm a covenant with many for 1 week. So many nations would participate in this peace treaty for 7 years. They'll all participate, led by this man. But then in the middle of that 7-year period, he will change. That's what you say. Any other questions? You see the chat. Online students, any questions? I think clear. Which one?
20 times 7. How does it mount up to 490 years?
Yeah, good. So, verse 24 says 70 weeks, right? In the Bible, weeks, in Bible times, weeks are used to represent years. The clearest indication of that is in Genesis 29. We can look at it from multiple perspectives. I will share it to you. Genesis 29. Here, verse 26 onwards, Genesis 29, verse 26 onwards. This is, Jacob is working for his uncle Laban, and he wants to actually marry Rachel, but, Laban first gives him Laban first gives him Leah. Then Jacob still wants to marry Rachel. What happens? Verse 26, Genesis 29:26. And Laban said, it must not be done so in our country to give the younger before the firstborn. Fulfill her week, and we will give you this one also for the service which you will serve with me still another 7 years. So when he says you work for 1 week, Jacob must have been very happy. 1 week only. But he explains 1 week is 7 years. Right? You fulfill her week. That means not just work 1 week, but you will serve with me still another 7 years. So 1 week means 7 years. So that's the idea in Bible times, right? So now you take that with us to Daniel 9:27. 70 weeks, 77 years, 70 times 7 years, 490 years. That's one. The other thing is also in Daniel 9, Daniel is actually praying about 70 years. Like in Daniel 9, verse 2, Daniel is remembering the prophecy of Jeremiah, where Jeremiah said 70 years you will be in captivity. So he's praying about this. In 70 years, Daniel 9, verse 2, Jeremiah the prophet, that he would accomplish 70 years in the desolations of Jerusalem. So Daniel is praying in the context of years. So when Gabriel comes and says 70 weeks, he's saying 70 weeks of years. The context is years. That the Daniel understands. Oh, he's talking to me about a different set of 70 weeks of years, 77s of years. The context is there. But I think the best one is Genesis 29, 26, 27, where it says, fulfill her week, which is 7 years. Then also through cross-referencing, for example, we see clearly Daniel 9:27 in the New Testament is talking about 42 months. That the middle of the week, 42. Oh, if that 1 week represents 7 years, then the rest of it should also represent years. We work backwards. So in many ways, we can come to the conclusion that he's actually talking about 490 years. Anything else? So this is one of those most important prophecies, and I would say most important prophecy from Daniel. He covers everything from that time, which is the issue of decree by the Persian king, all the way till the Messiah. Then, of course, there's a gap. Then the 7 years of tribulation. And then he's saying everlasting righteousness will come. The most holy will be anointed. So everything is covered in this passage. It's like a broad outline of everything going to come. Very powerful. In chapter 10, it's more of a Daniel praying and the angel Gabriel revealing to him what's happening in the spiritual realm. Chapter 11 is really a passage, and I'll probably explain this next week. Chapter 11 is a near-time prophecy. That means Daniel is being given a revelation of things that are going to happen in the near term. Okay, that means he's seeing about the fighting between the kings of the north and the kings of the south. So these will be the kingdoms that come after the Greeks and the Greeks. There will be the northern armies fighting with the southern army. So those battles are given here, and I have explained it in the PDF which I've shared. So it's not of immediate interest to us, other than the fact that God revealed all this to Daniel. Like there's going to be this conflict between the northern kings and the southern kings, and this is what's going to happen. But the end of chapter 11 is of interest to us because that then goes into once again talking about the Antichrist. Okay, so chapter 11, we'll read through this next week. All right, it's again pretty intense, but I'm just giving an overview. Chapter 11, he talks about, okay, from the Medes, who's going to come. Then verses 5 all the way through end of verse 35. Verse 5 to 35, he's talking about things that are going to happen in the near term. Okay, these are all the kings that are going to fight with each other. It's amazing because all these details were fulfilled historically in the near term, right after Daniel. But after that, verse 36 to 45, the focus shifts back again to this king who speaks blasphemies against God. Right? And this is a common theme that we've seen from chapter 7, the little horn speaking blasphemies against God. Chapter 8, the same horn speaking against the prince of the Most High, taking away their sacrifices, everything. That is, then chapter 9, he makes a covenant of peace, and then he breaks the covenant. Then again, chapter 11, he's once again referencing this same king who is speaking blasphemies against God. So every time we are seeing this king is going to come, who's going to speak blasphemies against God, he's going to attack Israel, he's going to do all these things against God's people. We are saying, okay, it's the same little horn that he's talking about, giving us more details on what he will do. So in Daniel 11, 36 to 45, we will read this next week, all right? He is giving us more information about this Antichrist, how he's going to position himself at the end of time, and his relationship, especially with Israel and Jerusalem. Okay, he's going to turn against them. So he makes a covenant of peace. Seems like he's for them. Everybody signs up to this covenant of peace, but he's going to turn against them, and he's going to attack Israel and Jerusalem. Okay, so we will do chapter 11 and 12 next week. What I would request you to do is just go through, I think the main chapters would be 7, 8, and 9, the last passage, right? Just read through it. Make sure it's clear in your mind that, okay, this is what he meant, this is everything. Because if we understand Daniel, then when we come into the New Testament, it'll be very easy. Oh, that's what Daniel said. And it is, Revelation is just explaining to us details of what will happen in that 7 years. Okay? We'll stop here. Okay? Please read 7, 8, and 9. Right? If you can, you read 11 as well, 11 and 12 in advance for next week. And we will get into 11 and 12 in detail next week. All right, we'll close here today. Thank you, everyone.